Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to News Dose. So early hands-on impressions for Halo Infinite's single-player campaign has started to go out today, and the good news is that I think Halo fans are going to be really happy, but unfortunately there was some bad news as well, which we'll kind of go over both of those here in just a little bit. And then also, PlayStation kicked off their Black Friday deals today, which is looking pretty extraordinary, and then even Nintendo, it sounds like one of their games might be set and ready to go. So we're going to go over all of that plus plenty more today. For our first topic of the day, though, we're actually going to talk about Shin Megami Tensei 5. This game did release last week exclusively for the Nintendo Switch, and it looks like it has gotten off to a big start over in Japan. Yes, Shin Megami Tensei 5 debuted at the #1 spot, ending on November 14th, selling 143,247 physical copies. Yes, this is just the physical copies, not including digital, which is already amazing on its own, considering digital just continues to rise and rise. But to see Shin Megami Tensei 5 have a fast start like this, being such a great JRPG, it's exactly what you want to see. I'm always thrilled when we see these high-quality games be heavily rewarded, and it does seem like the year of 2021, that has been happening a lot with some of these more niche style of franchises. We've actually seen a lot of these smaller franchises get a little bit more recognition this year, whether that be with Psychonauts 2, you have Metroid Dread, and here with Shin Megami Tensei 5. It is great to see this game have success, though of course this is just in Japan, where these style of games are actually quite popular. It'll be interesting to see how this one performs in places like the United States, but definitely a good start here for Shin Megami Tensei 5. Nintendo, though, did have yet another really strong week over in Japan. This, of course, is pretty common by this point, but they did take up 8 of the top 10 spots, and Mario Party Superstars is another one of those games that is continuing to do very well for them. Not only did Shin Megami Tensei 5 take the #1 spot, but then you also have Mario Party Superstars at #2, selling an additional 45,000 units, bringing it up to 289,000 in Japan. This is definitely a game I want to keep my eye on, just considering how well Super Mario Party sold, and I'm hoping Superstars can do similar numbers in the long run. Next up, Rockstar has now issued a statement for the Grand Theft Auto The Trilogy, the Definitive Edition, and I have to say, by this point, this game is probably far from definitive. Its launch has not went smooth at all, and it's got some major problems. It has been plagued with several issues, whether that be the poor frame rate on the Nintendo Switch, it's got graphical problems, it's got bugs and glitches, and yeah, the launch for this game has just not been great, to say the least. And while Rockstar has now responded by apologizing to fans, and they are also promising updates to fix some of the problems with this trilogy. Yeah, you can see here from their statement, they say, "Firstly, we want to sincerely apologize to everyone who has encountered issues playing these games. The Grand Theft Auto series and the games that make up this iconic trilogy are as special to us as we know they are to fans around the world. The updated versions of these classic games did not launch in a state that meets our own standards of quality or the standards our fans have come to expect. We have ongoing plans to address the technical issues and to improve each game going forward. With each planned update, the games will reach the level of quality that they deserve to be." A new title update is on the way in the coming days for all versions of Grand Theft Auto The Trilogy, the Definitive Edition, that will address a number of issues. We will update everyone as soon as it's live. So there you have it, and the good news here is that they are looking to update these games, though if you want my recommendation, I would still hold off on purchasing these games this holiday until you get some information in whether or not these games are fixed. This reminds me a lot of the Cyberpunk 2077 situation that happened last year. It released in a state it just shouldn't have been in, and now here we are a year later, and they still have not finished updating that game because there was just so many problems. And I don't necessarily know if this game will take as long to fix, but it is highly possible that they could push out an update this week and it just doesn't fix all the problems because it's that problematic. So for me personally, I would try to hold off on getting this game until you hear for a fact it has absolutely been fixed. But, you know, the good news is that they are at least updating it. Still, though, I mean, you have to wonder why they pushed it out the way they did in the first place. We saw this happen last year with Cyberpunk 2077, and I would think developers would be a little bit more willing to delay their game, but here we have it. Yet another problematic game up on release. Let's go and talk about Xbox and Halo Infinite though. Really, Xbox has had a couple of big weeks here recently with that Xbox 20th anniversary. They shadow launched Halo Infinite's multiplayer beta, which has been well received outside of its battle pass. And then they also just launched Forza Horizon 5. Actually, about Forza Horizon 5, just want to go and throw this out there. They did confirm today it is now the biggest launch for any game in Xbox history on both Xbox consoles and Xbox Game Pass, with 10 million players in just its first week. That is absolutely insane, but it's also well-deserved. It's just a crazy fun game. But we want to kind of see if Xbox can kind of continue that momentum into December. Of course, you have that Halo Infinite single-player campaign, and well, impressions have started to go out today, and so far it has been overwhelmingly positive. Now, keep in mind that this is not the full campaign for Halo Infinite, but from what I have seen so far, I've seen people admit that they were wrong about Halo Infinite's campaign, and it's actually really good. I've seen it be compared to Zelda Breath of the Wild, and also that Halo and its open world are a brilliant match, and that it solves many of the issues with Halo 4 and 5. So Halo Infinite is really starting to sound like the definitive experience for 343. They have received a lot of criticism over the years with Halo 4 and Halo 5, but Halo Infinite seems to be turning everything around. The multiplayer just feels so good. It probably really is the best that Halo has ever felt. Again, I have some different issues with the map layouts, but it feels superb. And now we have the single player campaign, which is the one thing that a lot of fans seem to be really concerned about, especially after we saw it last year with Craig. Its visuals was just not all that great. But something that I always kind of pointed out is that I thought that that original demo that they showed last year, it did look fun. It looked like they kind of went back to their roots with, games like Halo Combat Evolved, and they're just kind of bringing that into the next generation of games. It just seems like they got the atmosphere correct this time and really have expanded on the Halo world. And again, we know how good this game feels from the multiplayer beta. So really, it just seems like Halo is back in a big way. And I think Halo fans have to be just so excited to hear this type of stuff, because I know that there has been this constant concern with Halo Infinite, especially after the Craig demo last year. So I think this should alleviate a lot of that concern, and yep, let's just bring on December 8th next month when Halo Infinite launches. Now, unfortunately, we do have a little bit of bad news as well. Not everything was perfect today, as they did now confirm that Halo Infinite's cooperative game mode and Forge mode has further been delayed. Now, there was already some rumors that this was the case, because they did say that they were going to extend the first season of Halo Infinite's multiplayer, and co-op isn't set to release until the second season, though at the time they never really confirmed if that included the cooperative game mode for Halo Infinite's single-player campaign. Today, though, we can now confirm, thanks to Joseph Staten, that yes, unfortunately, both campaign co-op and Forge have now been pushed back as well. So what this means is that co-op will probably now release sometime around May if everything goes according to plan. Now, I know that's going to be very disappointing for a lot of fans out there, because Halo Infinite is a big cooperative style of game. A lot of people will play it completely solo, but then there's also a lot of people that will play these games cooperatively, and I understand that because Halo has always been a really good cooperative experience. So I do absolutely understand the disappointment here. And if you are one of those fans that just want to play this game cooperatively, you might have to sit out this December and just wait until around May of next year in 2022. I know for myself, though, what I like to do when it comes to these style of games is I like to play single player first, because it allows me to focus on the story a little bit more rather than just constantly talking. And then after that, I like to go back and then play it cooperatively. So for me, this kind of works, though I know everybody's kind of different about this situation. So again, I completely 100% understand. Moving on, though, we do have a big Nintendo Switch game to talk about, being Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Now, this game is a big shift for the Kirby franchise, and truthfully, I'm actually really excited about this one, as I do really like 3D platformers, and, well, Nintendo has always been among the best publishers when it comes to, of course, 3D platformers. So I'm really excited to see how this one will turn out. And, well, it does sound like it's getting close to release. It's now been spotted that Kirby and the Forgotten Land has been rated by ESRB, which means that it is likely finished or getting, at the very least, close to finishing. So that is a very good sign that Kirby and the Forgotten Land is on track to release early in 2022. They did say previously that it was going to release spring of 2022, which means March, April, or May. And that is actually really interesting because it has been pointed out that Kirby's anniversary month would be April. So it does make me wonder if maybe they are saving this for an April release. This is something that Nintendo is kind of known to do. Sometimes they do completely finish their games and then they just put them on the bench and then just wait to release them at specific times. It's been stated that Nintendo has done this several times in the past, including with Metroid Dread. From the sounds of things though, you Nintendo fans have yet another year to look forward to with the Nintendo Switch, as their lineup is starting to shape up very well. I mean, if you take a look at early 2022, you have Pokemon Legends Arceus set to release on February 26th. You have Kirby and the Forgotten Land sometime in spring 2022. Even Splatoon 3 is planned for an early 2022 release. And then beyond that, you have rumors swirling around that a Metroid Prime remaster is in development. Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope is coming. You have Zelda Breath of the Wild 2. That one is going to be absolutely huge. And then also Bayonetta 3. And that's the thing, because I'm sure we don't have the full lineup for the Nintendo Switch just yet, but it is really starting to shape up very well for you Nintendo Switch owners out there. Now, before I go, one last thing that I want to highlight just real quick would be PlayStation's big Black Friday sale. They are holding a massive sale, both with their physical games as well as with their digital games. Yes, the holidays are officially upon us with some major discounts across the game industry, and really you should check out several different retailers. I know Best Buy, GameStop, Amazon, and Walmart are all holding some Black Friday deals for various video games, so definitely go check out those retailers. But here with PlayStation, they really are holding a massive sale, whether that be with their physical games or even with digital. Now, if we take a look over here at PlayStation Direct, you can see several physical games for sale, whether that be PlayStation 5 or PlayStation 4. This includes games like Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart for $50, Spider-Man Miles Morales is $50 or $30 depending on which version you get, Ghost of Tsushima is $50, Death Stranding Director's Cut is $40, Demon Souls $40, Returnal $50, Sackboy: A Big Adventure $30, and then Destruction All-Stars you can get for $15. So that's already some pretty good games that aren't all that relatively old. Then if you look over on the PlayStation 4 side of things, you have Spider-Man for $20, Ratchet & Clank at $10, The Last of Us Part 2 $20, God of War $10, The Last of Us Remastered $10, Bloodborne $10, Little Big Planet 3 $10, and the list just kind of goes on and on. So there's a lot of games here that you can pick up physically for the PlayStation 4 or the PlayStation 5. Now, on the digital side of things, this is where things really start to get crazy because they have a massive list of games here. I mean, you have games like Tales of Arise and Deathloop, which released back in September. I mean, Deathloop is only $30 right now. Tales of Arise you can get for $42. Guardians of the Galaxy, that one just released, a couple weeks back? You can get that one right now for $39. Riders Republic, another game that released just in the last month or so, you can get that for $40. And I mean, if you just look through the list, you can just see game after game. Resident Evil Village, $30. Psychonauts 2, which in my opinion is my game of the year, that is $42. Please, you all need to get that one right there. Life is Strange, True Colors, that's another new game, $39. So if you are looking to pick up some games for the PlayStation throughout Black Friday, definitely go check out the PlayStation Store and then PlayStation Direct. You can even get 12 months of PlayStation Plus right now for $40. So if you need to stock up on your subscription, now would be the time. Let's go take a look at the poll of the day, though. Something that we did talk about yesterday is the Ampere analysis that showed that the Xbox Series X and a Series S split might be a little bit closer than what some of us realize, as the Series S reportedly has sold more than a Series X in some key markets. GameIndustry.biz also reported from their understanding that the Series S and the Series X are 50-50 in some places. So that's why I asked you all, if you own an Xbox Series, which model do you have? And as you can see here, 48% of you voted for the Xbox Series X, 17% for the Xbox Series S, 4% I own both the Xbox Series X and S, and then 28% of you says that you own neither console. So it does seem like most of you all lean towards the Xbox Series X, which was about what I was expecting. This is more of the hardcore part of the community, where a lot of you all probably want the best possible graphics that you can get. Even then though, I do know the Xbox Series S is a very viable option with a fast processor that can easily output 60 frames per second, and that alone is worth the upgrade compared to the Xbox One from last generation. The solid-state drive and the frame rate cannot be understated this generation with the Xbox Series and the PlayStation 5. It is extraordinary, and the Xbox Series S can absolutely offer that at a very affordable price at just $300. So I really do think both are very viable options, and it just depends on what you're looking for. If you want the best possible graphics with high resolution, then the Series X would be the way to go. But if you're okay with having more of that 1080p resolution with lightning fast load times and then a buttery smooth frame rate, well, the Series S is a good option as well. I did find it interesting to see some of the reasons that you all bought an Xbox Series S, though. Some of you all mentioned buying it as a secondary console to do things like emulation. I saw some of you all mention buying it as a gift for somebody else, maybe your kid, your wife, your friend, or whomever. It is a great gift to get somebody at such an affordable price, while also still jumping into next generation gaming. Once again, I think Xbox did a great job in offering options this generation. Anyways though, that's it for this episode, but if you liked the video, don't forget to bell notification and subscribe button for more content just like this. Also, if you'd like to support the channel through Patreon, thank you for making this content possible. Peace out.